against the walls. The chair is equal. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans. Another day closer to victory. For all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Buy things at gearwebsites.com.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. So tonight is episode, it's getting close. It's episode 1198. You didn't hear that incorrectly. I didn't put too many ones in there. 2 1s, a 9, and an 8. In that configuration means that we've almost hit the 1200 mark. And unlike some of the shows that quark, some of the shows that attempt but fail at being all about guns, we don't look at these waypoints anymore. We're so set in our ways and experienced that fail. I'm clicking on the wrong shit. Talking and typing at the same time. So anyway, yeah, we're about to hit episode 1200. So I don't think it's ever been done before. No other show has had the nerve or the balls to be live this many times. We're going to start the show off, finally found it, with a video that was made on the big channel and sent out earlier today. If I screen share, you'll actually be able to see it like this. And I think you can still hear me. Let me know. And then you should be able to hear this. Good morning. We're taking a look at guncalendars.com, where we attempt to archive our daily firearms history. And you can see that not every single day is filled up. That is our goal. So if you know something that we're missing from our list or an event that's firearm or Second Amendment related, please let us know. So today is October 21st, and we have something interesting to talk about from history. That's the patent for the LeMat Grape Shot revolver. So that's the famous revolver with the shotgun down the middle and the whole bunch of rounds around the outside. So it's not one of my favorite guns, but I do understand that it's kind of iconic and that it's super interesting. And it had to be patented at one point, and that was today, October 21st, back in 1856. And I'm sure people know more about this one than me. But I saw that this one was out there and added it to the calendar. Again, our goal is to have something interesting for every single day so that we remember our history and we remember on whose shoulders we stand. Let's also remember that just in a couple of days here will be the 2A rally. It'll be virtual this year, October 24th. If you're not already aware, check it out. And we'll see you there. Just gonna play that from now on, whenever there's a break in the conversation. And we can talk about the scandal behind the rally. Is that the best way to say it? The bullshit behind the rally, the payoffs, and the raw power plays that happened at this rally. And if anybody was around yesterday, everybody left. There's one person watching this show, one viewer. So that's probably just me watching my own show. So for me, when I was watching this show yesterday, the scam was revealed, and Pincus ended up winning the flag, which was total scam. He bought 4 patches, sure. So he had 4 of the 20-something slots. So that gave him a 1 in 5 chance of winning anyway. But pretty sure it was payola. So what we're doing is having a live show tomorrow where we'll chat about the rally, 2-bit it a little bit, and then we're going to give that flag away again. So, talked to him on the Instagram earlier, and he's like, "Yeah, let's move it along. Let's pass it along." So it looks like we have some people out here. Something's fake. But is this only counting humans? Money 2 is a robot? 2 people claim to be here, yet obviously the duck, El Pato, who can sniff out humans just like a dog can sniff out Terminators. El Pato lets me know that only one of you 2 is human. So that's interesting. I've actually made logos for both of these people. Now I feel like I was a chump and I made a logo for a robot. Dang. So that's the kind of scandal that gets brought. Oh, now there's 3 people. So something happened. There's no way to explain it. But what we can explain is look at this. This is happening live. Don't get scared. This just happened. You've never seen this happen on one of them wimpy wannabe gun chats that happens during the day. But we're not scared of real conversation. In fact, we encourage it. That's all we do here is have real conversation. So we take the link to this show and we drop it right here. And then you have the link. And if you're not scared, you'll click on that link and join the conversation. Or you'll tippity tap over here like some of these people are tippity tapping their questions in, their comments in. They're being part of the conversation here with their fingertips. Yeah, we're not biased. You can use any digit, any extremity to be part of this. Well, no, that's weird. So you can use any form of communication to be part of this show. Yeah, you do control robots for a living and do it pretty well. So it's interesting. Then look at that. So people have to be the judge themselves. But we had absolute proof by the El Pato, an impartial Canadian software that I rip off by having like 8 accounts, so I never have to pay for the service. So you're welcome. As a capitalist, I feel like I've used chess over their little checkers game in Canada. So I use this software completely free. All I got to do is cram the stupid logo in there. So you got to look at a little duck with a monocle, little snooty duck looking down at you. But I'm getting it for free. That means my Patreons ain't getting charged for it. All right, well, so we made this little cartoon this week. Pretty happy with it. It's not really a cartoon. I guess it's an intro to the show. Really, I think it captures the show in a lot of ways. This is what happens behind the scenes. You don't see everything that happens, but these shows ain't pretty. And, this time slot every single day at midnight Eastern, that's 9 p.m. Pacific, that's 2 different time slots we got to secure. And we do that through force and intimidation and just raw power. Nobody gives us this time slot. We have to take it, often by force and always by strategy. And we control the evenings. There's no other live chats in the evening. They know their place. So, every once in a while, some little show will snap at our feet with a little cork in action. You know how that is. But that gets squelched down by the swell of popularity that happens at this show. Anyway, so we throw the link out there. I bitch and moan and mope for a while unless people join in. I am watching 2 things, right? I'm watching this to see if anybody's chatting. And then I'm watching this over here. Because once this gets to like 20 minutes, or if I yawn like 3 times, I'm out of here. This show ain't making no money. This show is designed for our Patreons and people that are interested in having a valid, actual conversation about guns, a place to do it. So I mope for a little while. If after about 20 minutes nobody shows up, we shut her down. So be part of it, join in, or I don't know why you would show up and not be part of the conversation at this point. But what else do we got going on? Look at Instagram, I guess. Somebody had a show earlier today. Matt didn't. Oh, we could click on that, but that's a private message. Let me bring it over here and see what that's all about. Private message coming in. I don't get those that often. right, so you got to listen to nothing because that's what happens when nobody does nothing. All right, so nobody's saying anything. I guess I'll go to Instagram. I forgot what I was doing. We're gonna go look at Instagram, I guess. So we got Patriot posted. Was that I guess it's 1911 with I don't think that's one of Ozzy's holsters. And then I guess that's a sticker. I don't think that's a badge with his new art. Got some kind of 2A rally. What are they editing this in Adobe, perhaps? I don't know. I don't know what this preview window. I don't use this preview window. This could be Adobe, but they use it differently than me then. How many people do you think will have seen these videos 72 hours from now? Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands? I don't think tens of thousands. NEA on Yankee level internet now? Oh, you're saying like he has bad internet? Yeah, I guess so. That's what he's blaming it on. Or he's on one of his cruises. The reason he lives by that big ocean or whatever is because he's got like a whole bunch of boats. Oftentimes people drive around and be like, oh, what is this? Like, is this where one of the cruise lines, has their main hub or something? Is that why there's dozens of cruise liners here? No, that's just never enough ammo's docks. You really can't go out there. He never films out there because he doesn't want to let anybody know about it. But yeah, whenever he's like, oh, I got bad internet. That's just when he's out on one of his yachts. They're not really yachts. They're like ocean liners that only him and his family hang out on. Sometimes he brings his family. Often he'll just bring, himself. He'll go out there with his servants and just, I don't know what he does out there. He doesn't tell anybody. It's probably weird. Why would he need a giant boat like that alone, right? If he's doing something normal. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that's what his bad internet is all about. They won't tell you that during the daytime shows. Firearms book. Yeah, so we posted the firearms book, right, over on the instant message. And how this works, you can instantly message people on this system. All right, so it looks like we know what time we're doing this thing tomorrow now too. And now I'll go back over here. Let's see. If you click on these circles, these don't last as long. Dragon Man. New M16 shirts coming soon. So it looks like they're putting the Dragon Man gun on the Dragon Man t-shirt. That's pretty cool. I don't like the Dragon Man sights though. So let's go vintage. So this one, see, you got to click on everything. Oh, you know what I was going to do today? I was actually going to do a picture of Machine Gun BB. She did a pretty funny. Actually, it's going to be on her thing. I was going to do a cartoon of this. She did a good, what do you want to call it? It's not really a pose as much as like a good position. She was shooting there. I think it'd be too much for like a patch, but that could be a good t-shirt. Maybe a sticker right there, right there. Except I'd put her right hand on the pistol grip and then put her left hand going down to adjust. Maybe maybe right there. Can you put it? You can pause this. You can't rewind it. But like up like this would be good. But then when she's down like this, it'd be good too. Not with her arm forward. Anyway, I don't know what she was doing. I think that was somebody else's thing, and she just reposted it, but didn't say who it's from. So let's see. Anybody know about this Ammo Squared? I don't know why I started following this place, but they have some interesting ammo shit. I guess this is 50 bale, but some kind of warehouse and some kind of club or something. I don't think it's a scam. Yeah, so that's what your Instagram looks like. I guess we'll look at the book. Nobody else is saying anything. I like to give it about 20 minutes on this clock before I pull the plug. I ain't here to prove nothing. And again, this is supposed to be a conversation, so make it a conversation by clicking on stuff over here or jumping onto this link. which I keep dropping out there. Otherwise, I'll go back to making another book. I got another book in my head, and I just finished that other one. So let's see. How am I going to get to it quick? I can get to it quicker than anybody by going just here, and here, and to here, and to here. All right. So I think I can make it even bigger. Front cover is supposed to look like a passport, so I made some art up look like that. This was all instigated by not getting invited to this session where all the museums get together and mope, and then a bunch of, I don't know, what do they call it when you help somebody who mopes mope more? Like a bunch of well, I don't want to say that. A bunch of people just pat them on the back and go, oh, how mopey for you. And they mope about how nobody goes to the museums. So they don't invite me there. So I was watching this thing and like gritting my teeth. My teeth ain't even good. Like I need to go to the dentist. And I'm sitting here hurting my own teeth, watching this garbage as they mope and complain that they can't do nothing. As I visited like 20 something, 26, 29 of these fucking museums. And anyway, so this book is that concept. I started it on the website and nobody really looks at the website. You can't make people look at a website. So pulled it up off the website, stuck it into a 30-page book. It's like all of them. It's basically a piece of paper folded in half about the size of a cargo pocket. Inside back cover tells you about the book. The goal is to offer photography conditions because I've been to all of them, as well as accessibility conditions for all of them. And then the first page gives you the table of contents. Then you've got one museum per page where you get the number of guns when they were opened. They're listed chronologically. So as you go through the book, this is the order that they were built. It'll have the states, where they are. And then, information about the place, contact information, any highlights, let's say. Some of them are unique or whatever. And then the majority, this section is my experiences or our experiences at the museums. So there's something like just under 30 of them in here. Like I say, a page per, or a museum per page. And then there's only 2 that I haven't actually visited, but were important, so I've included them. I've driven past the Rock Island one, but I never went in there. And then the same with Springfield Armory. I've never been to Springfield Armory as an adult, so I didn't put anything in there for that. And then there's one page here that's sort of an exception, and that's the non-public reference collections. Like, some of, they're not all, but like some of them are the ATF or the FBI. I put those in here. I included them. I wanted to extrapolate on them, but I don't really know too much about them. There's a few people that have had access to them where you can kind of get an idea of them. But since I went and listed all the museums here, not chronologically, but by how many guns they have, so you can sort them by how many guns they've got. I put these in here because you can see just how big those reference collections are that we don't have any access to. Like the ATF has 10,000 guns. That's almost as big as the J.M. Davis collection, and we can't even, we're lucky to have like 2 videos on the internet where somebody knew, pay off somebody to get access to it. Anyway, so then you go through, it's all the museums that I visited so far. That came out to a 30-page book, so that worked. There's a couple other things. I've got the Shooting Sports Hall of Fames in here. Each of the shooting sports have their own Hall of Fames, I think. So I've included the ones that I know of, and if there's any others, let me know. Some of them are kind of virtual, but most of them, at least 5 of them, do have, places where they keep trophies and information about all the history. And, shooting sports goes back to the beginnings of stuff. So there's some really long histories there. It's pretty neat. Some really interesting accomplishments too, like people shooting for 3 days without missing a target, like literally just 3 days, it seems like, because some of these things are just big hills of targets and they miss like 4 or something or none out of all of them, like throwing a piece of wood in the air and shooting at it. It's all kinds of crazy stuff. So once you get to the end, I added the Army museums. There's 2 pages of those. Pretty much each state has a fort, and each fort has, most every fort has an Army museum. So that's how they keep all the Army stuff in existence, by not having to have one giant museum. They have whole bunches of museums. they're all organized by one place, and that could be that is literally a whole book in itself. But I put the Army museums in here, and then the Air Force museums are in there, and the Navy got the shaft because I'm not in the Navy and I couldn't put everything in here. So there'll be a volume 2, and that'll have the Navy museums and the submarines and stuff, and then all of these museums that I haven't visited. I've visited a couple of these maybe, but not all of them. So these will be either in the future after I visit them, or just if I get time to figure out and do some research. But that's it. That's the 30 pages. On the back cover is a map of the states with the locations and the different museums, so you get an idea of where they are and how many of them. Again, this is only about half of the museums that are actual firearms museums, and then if you count museums that have a couple of guns in them, it gets to even be a bigger number. So the goal is really to keep people, aware of this stuff and interested in it, and hopefully put these things on people's radar. I don't know, these aren't that big a book, so I was thinking you might be able to punch a hole in the corner and put like a piece of 550 on it, and just have that thing at like a gun shop or a gun show hanging off a table, so that nobody takes leaves with it, but so that people can thumb through it. It's really what they are, is just illustrated references to keep things handy, so you know where to find them, and just to be aware of where these museums are, because they're not necessarily hidden. Some of them are huge, and they all could use the attention. It would be cool if channels would champion the museums that are near them and maybe get access or help bring new visitors in. Who knows what kind of collaborations could be done with our actual historic treasures, right? At least that's the goal. So yeah, that's I've already found like a million errors in this, so I'll be editing it as soon as I shut the show down here in a couple of minutes, because nobody's jumping in. But yeah, that's going to be up on a video tomorrow. It's already on the store. Luckily, since I just print them here, I can make these edits and make the change, and it'll just say over here, it'll say volume 1.5 instead of 1.4. And I'll have updated I found some typos and stuff in here. I dictated this thing into my phone, and it didn't work perfectly, I guess. And I was just so happy to get the formatting done. I thought I was done. So anyway, I got to go back and do a little bit more editing, but then this one's done. And this one's been taking a while. It's been mostly done for a while, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to try to make it larger, because I can get up to 60 pages in this format of book. And I was thinking I might make it larger and just start including some of the other important museums that I have not been to. But I decided to go with just the ones that I can offer some insight on, and then a couple of these lists, just because you have to have 4 pages. You have to be a multiple of 4 pages in this style of book, just because of the way that you fold the pages and they get printed and everything. So it just kind of worked out to screw the Navy, include the other military museums just briefly, and kind of stage for a volume 2. With that, I'll close out of this. Nobody's saying nothing. If you're on Patreon, I just posted about that, so you can go look at like whatever I was just looking at there was a PDF. And then check it out. Ammo Squared, is it a subscription ammo place? I think so. But like I say, I don't subscribe or nothing. I don't know how I found them on Instagram, if they were posting something interesting, or sometimes if someone will hit you on Instagram with a like or a follow or whatever, comment or something, you'll see their icon and go, what's this all about? Click on them or whatever. And I might have done that. I really don't remember how I found them, but they show interesting ammo stuff once in a while. Working on a secret project. Right on. Yeah, I've been getting closer and closer. In fact, I think I've worked out something to create a couple of days of time in which I'm going to get my machines running. I need to get my Etsy shop kind of dusted off, get ready for Christmas time, because 2A ain't paying no bills. DJ jumped in. Good evening.
Hello. Say that the museum book, are you going to be printing that as both a full size and a mini book?
Well, there's a video that'll go out tomorrow, but yeah, the little tiny one is sort of a supplement. So I've been making these little tiny books for just shits and giggles, because it's fun to make these little tiny ones. it's a pain because you have to kind of redo everything, right? But the outcome is kind of neat having a little tiny book. So the big one has info because there's room to write stuff. In fact, I probably could have made it comic book size. I'm thinking I got to figure out a way to try to make things comic book size, and I think I can get a lot more stuff on there with the same size writing. Because right now it was a real challenge to like I wanted to have pictures. I've been to all these ones, so I wanted to include some pictures. I'm still gonna have to
For sure.
the next version. I'll have some pictures somehow. Like I say, I might have to get bigger. But anyway, when you get smaller, you really have to remove data. So they're useless, right? But they're neat. So I figured for this project, having it be a passport, making the tiny little passport book is a way to have like your stamps, right? Like you can just check off, there's room to check off if you've been to it, and then like a date, like write a date in there or whatever, so that you can kind of keep track of which museums you might have been to already or something. So, or give it to a kid or something, let them start collecting what museums they've seen. So anyway, that's what that little mini one is. Or maybe, I don't know, just a fuck around, it's a little tiny book. Anyway, I'm going to just give those to people who buy them. I'm just including it as like a supplement or like a part of the book.
Yeah, I was really happy when I got my mini revolver mini book in addition to the large size. Got that pocket style one for taking along to shows, and the larger one that I may use as a future giveaway myself. So thanks for doing that. Oh yeah, that screenshot you're sharing right now. That little one is just adorable. Gee.
Yeah, and I didn't really take pictures of the inside. I got video of it somewhere. Oh,
Say, how many pages did you just tell us it was in total?
it's 30. Like I say, it's
Okay.
not 30 museums because there's a page or two that are, what do you call it? Table of contents. Also, because my printer screwed up, you're going to get this cool, like this, I call this the counterfeit line. So just like a dollar bill, you can't counterfeit it because you can tell, like you'll be able to tell
Yep.
it's that horrible line going through it, that it's actually from my printer, not from some bullshit. Somebody who scammed it off of my Patreon and then just started printing it. This is rip off. No counterfeiting. You know you're getting the good one when you get that big line going through it. It won't happen on the little ones because the little one prints somewhere in the middle here. But I got to figure out. Somebody said they know how to fix these things, and I'm thinking it's like an $87 drum because I think my drum got burned doing something. It couldn't have been me. It's probably something else. Somebody came in and messed with it. But somehow that line got burned, and I've tried wiggling on it and screwing with it, changing the cartridge, and it still does it. It's just doing it in blue, I think. But I'm not sure how to diagnose it yet before I spend $87. But the thing that it fixes it is the big toner drum or whatever it's called, and that's like $87 on Amazon.
Wow.
So anyway, everybody
the
gets a cool line on anything that comes out on that section of the paper.
Is I can't do the division very quickly in my head, and you're used to formatting more than I am these days. Would it be possible to try to do a mock-up, at least in a couple of test hits on like a roadmap style fold job on like an 11 by 17 sheet? Because that might be neat.
Cool. Oh, that would be super cool. Actually, that'd be very cool. Now I can do a poster because I know this chick who will do my bidding. I can have a poster made. If that kind of stuff can be folded. But there might be some special paper you get, like Right in the Rain paper is almost fabric. It's almost like leathery. Like it doesn't have the same brittleness or something, or hardness, I guess. I don't know what it is, rigidity that a regular piece of paper has. So something, like a map. Like a map is sort of almost like a fabric sometimes, a good map. So yeah, if I could definitely alter, because that map that I made was more to do like this, like just illustrate where the museums are, but not to really offer any information at scale. So if I made it the size of a poster, or like you're saying, a big road map, yeah, that would be cool as hell, actually. Because like think of one of the maps where you get like one of them deals where they've got like ads all around the perimeter, and that's how you pay for like a free map or whatever. Just swap it out and have all the museums instead of ads. And yeah, you can fit them all on.
Well, and most of those museums have like discounted admissions or programs outside of the usual, over 65, under 12, or students. and they a lot of them these days. Or at least some that I've been in the last couple of years, have provided you with museum passports when you get there for each of the the rotating exhibits and the regular like new installments and the old stuff, and that kind of reminds me of what they did here in Omaha at the Henry Dorley Zoo. They used to have these talk boxes at points in front of some of the animal holding areas. And you got a little red key along with your little blue passport, and the passport had little check boxes. And when you got to the location,
When you got to the location, you cut off right there. When you got to the location, they would do something with the key, probably. They jab you with a key in the neck. That seems horribly violent, and I wouldn't let my child participate in anything like that. But you cut out completely, so I have no idea what you're actually saying. Pretty sure he was about to say, though, that they gave the people at those areas the little red keys, and then they would jab the children. I guess it teaches your children to be... Okay, go ahead. Nick,
no jabbing, but what they did have were these powder blue boxes, and you took the elephant key, the not the nose, the trunk of the elephant was the key, and so you would stick it in the box and turn it, and it played a little reel of information about the display that you were seeing in front of you. And one day I took my key out after listening to it, and one of the gorillas kind of charged the moat in between where we were and their holding area, and I dropped my key 20 feet down, and I didn't try to go over the rail after it, but I begged my dad to have one of the zookeepers come and get it for me. I was crying.
Oh, when you're a little kid, it happened. I thought you mean.
Yeah, I was like maybe 4 years old.
That's interesting, though. So let's say that you wouldn't have said nothing, and then everybody left, right? And then that key was down there, and that monkey's seen that key down there. So they've seen all these humans use that key. They know what's going on. They grab that key. They climb up there because they're monkeys. They can climb up there. They just haven't decided to, right? So they climb up there when everybody's looking, and then they turn the key in there, and they listen to that. Then they get explained their whole situation. Now they're not monkeys anymore. Now they're monkeys that are aware, right?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, me too. Well, and of course, I had seen Planet of the Apes with my dad. That thing just scared the life out of me. I didn't even know what the Statue of Liberty was, but I was scared nonetheless.
Speaking of Statue of Liberty, I was just watching a thing about statues. You ever seen the difference in scale of the different giant statues like that?
Not as many as I would like to, but I did learn after seeing something about that how short the Eiffel Tower really is. I wondered why I thought maybe it was a perspective from the horizon line that was messing with me when people would have like their photos taken near it. But I never got the appropriate scale until it was up against, like, I don't know, Empire State or something like that, and I'm like, what? That's nothing.
Well, what, the Empire State Building is probably... Oh, thank you. Somebody bought something over at the store that makes that little thing. Here, what I'll do is go look. And since you bought something during the show... Oh, crap. Somebody bought a whole bunch of shit. We'll throw in all kinds of extra stuff. So, imagine... Let's see. Does it tell me on this screen? Well, you're the first one to buy the passport book. So first off, I'll throw in one of the drafts if you want. I don't know if you're it doesn't say in here if you left a note, I guess. Or wait, what if I click more? No. So I'm looking at it on my phone so I don't accidentally show everybody's name, because every time I look at my store, it shows everybody's address right away. But anyway, since you bought the first book, since I only barely put the book online an hour or two ago, you literally bought the first one. If you want one of the drafts, I don't know if that's the dude that was in here asking or not, but all I see is, of course, your or whatever name you put in here for the shipping, right? Oh, is that you? So then, well, I was just going to say, I was offering my Patreons. I've got like 9 drafts that, that I can print out now because I got this color printer. And if you're interested, I don't need to keep those things. I hate to just throw them away. So I'll throw that in there just so you can kind of see the evolution. Since you bought the first one, give you the first draft. It's not quite barren, but it's definitely different. I changed the format and stuff around. So anyway, if you're interested, I'll throw that in there for you. But I'll also throw in a couple other things and some Daily Gun Show stuff since you bought it during the show. In fact, I don't know why I don't do that. I should offer that more often. But anytime you order something during the show, I'll throw in some actual Daily Gun Show stuff on top of whatever you order. But I do appreciate it. Thanks. That helps us to do what we're trying to do. And I'm about to have to pay taxes. So erstwhile, I was over here alluding to a secret project, and that secret project has 100% to do with trying to do some stuff to make some money. Like I say, 2A doesn't really pay any bills. So doing some things on the side always to try to bring some money in. And it's Christmas or whatever, everybody's, what do you call it, like casual spending season comes in. I've got to have as much stuff ready to go as possible. So yeah, I appreciate giving us some funds to do that. Thanks. Dang, right, that came in just as I was opening up this window over here to do something. I got kind of cut off there. What were we about to, what did I get cut off mid-sentence? I was about to open something in this browser. I do not remember. What were we talking about? Museums and the book. Don't remember, so I'm going to go back.
I lost it.
Yep. So, well, okay, so I don't know where we're going to go then. So it's 38 minutes in. I was going to say it's an hour in. It's only 38 minutes in. Did something end up happening yesterday? I ended up chatting for a while. I don't know if we were live for a long time. Sometimes what'll happen is we'll be live and it'll, be able to be saying anything. And like I say, I'm getting paid to, just force a show on people. So if nothing's happening, we shut the show down. And then often, as soon as we shut it down, we start chatting off air for like 4 hours. And I don't really, you're not going to turn it back on. That's not an option. So, we just end up chatting. So I don't remember. I know that I was chatting pretty late in the night, one of these last couple of nights, but I don't know if it was anything worth bringing back up on, if you were there, or if it was worth bringing back up on here, if I guess what I should be saying is if any of our off-air conversations had any topics that are worth bringing up in here. Let's see. Breaking through. I don't know what that's all about. Patriot Stand, statues, Eiffel Tower. Oh yeah, thank you very much. So there was a channel there's a couple of channels that I've been watching these size comparisons, these visualizations. And I think I figured out how to do those things now. To show physically or visually, I guess, like the difference in scale between, I don't know, spaceships or buildings or monsters or robots and all different kinds of things, like a pile of money that indicates like how wealthy somebody is, like all kinds of interesting things they'll put into these visualization. I don't think they're programs. I think it's just a lot of hard work and rendering, a lot of putting things, figuring out the scale, and then creating them and putting them all next to each other in a giant video, and gather amazing amount of views, because pretty much everyone I've watched gets a ton of views, but they're really, really interesting. Anyway, so in a couple of those, they've used the Eiffel Tower to maybe show the scale, maybe something fake like spaceships or something that's really big, where they'll use the Eiffel Tower to show just how big that other thing is. But other times when it's something smaller, like a tank or vehicles, boats or something, maybe, they'll have the Eiffel Tower in there somewhere. So from my gather, the Eiffel Tower is somewhere between like a house, like a regular 2-story suburban urban sprawl type of house, and then like a 10-story building, like it's 5-10 stories tall or something like that. And then skyscrapers are like 30 or 100 or something. if he's saying stuff or not. But yeah, I think
I'm pretty sure that it's less than 1,000 feet. It's not. It's not that tall. That was kind of the point I was trying to make. It's like a lot shorter than I imagined it to be. And maybe that's because Paris, being as old a city as it is, they just don't have our skyscraper. It's their equivalent to our skyscrapers.
They did have the. I think they did have the. Wow, there's a lot of videos I've watched since this. Okay, I did watch one on the tallest buildings, but then I also watched one on statues. I'm going to play the one on statues. I
You
don't know
can't
if
fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis.
shut the fuck up. So I guess I got to watch this effing commercial first, and then I don't know if I shut the other videos down when I shut this channel. So these are the tiniest statues. That's a can of Coke. So that's the tiniest statues that are smaller than a can of Coke, right? And then, statues get bigger. Here's the Easter Island ones. And then there's a dude. So the Easter Island ones are like 3 dudes standing on each other's heads. I didn't know that David one was that big. And then there's Abraham Lincoln. Has everybody seen this? I'm going to get copyrighted for this for sure. And then statue, or what do you call that? Mount Rushmore. And then that thing, I've never heard of these before. I think this one fell down a long time ago. But still, that's pretty freaking big compared to, I've seen the Lincoln one before, and it's big. And this thing seems pretty big. Looks like it's bigger than the Sphinx and shit, right? Then you get that one from Rio that I didn't know it was that big, but it's that big. Heard of this one from Russia before? Or wait, not that one. This other one from Russia before? And I didn't know it was that big. And then you get the Statue of Liberty, which isn't that big, but it's standing on a bunch of stuff. So it makes it that big. It's fake. Then another one I never heard of. Then they start getting really freaking big. So I think in here is where you see the Eiffel Tower. Boom. Yeah. So there's the biggest statue, and it's smaller than the Eiffel Tower. But look how big the Eiffel Tower is compared to the Statue of Liberty. Is that coming through? Eiffel edition.
I put on my deodorant and
Oh, he got kicked out. Did this end because of the copyright? Would you shut up? Quit making noise. This one is neat. It's a better channel too. This one is all this big buildings in the world. Starts out with some dumb building nobody ever heard of. And then that was in I guess that was in New York City. So there's the building in New York City. Another one in New York City. Oh, another one in New York City. This is the tallest buildings in the world, it says. And then you get to 1910. Another one in New York City. 1915. Another one in New York City. 1930, another one in New York City. Empire State Building, New York City. Them two, New York City. Finally, in 1972, Sears Tower comes along, clobbers New York City like a bitch. Like if it was standing still, just passes it like a race car. Barely, but still bigger. Then a couple years later, some other country does something in metric, and then weird country does something in metric again, and then this giant building, and then this weird ass thing that don't count because it's fake, mostly antennas, and then where the hell this is going to be? 2022, but that's pretty neat. And then do they go show them all together? I think there's going to be one even bigger one, or no? That's just showing them all together. So there's Sears Tower way the hell down there like a little punk. I think those little visualization things are pretty neat. So that probably got me copyrighted. So you got to see something that is going to be copyrighted. Anyway, so it made it look like the Eiffel Tower is big, but then it really ain't that big.
Yeah, Sears Tower was the first, the tallest building I was in at the youngest age, and that was that. At that time, it wasn't anywhere close to the top 10 anymore. But everything now seems to all those big superstructures seem to be in Asia now.
The Sears Tower is still in the top 10. It was
It
only
is?
it was the number one up until 1996. So all the other
Oh,
buildings
wow.
that have been built since 96, there's only 4 that have been built bigger than it or something. And
Oh
then
well,
there's
shit! I
going
was there in '75.
So yeah, in most of our lifetimes, we owned the biggest building until like the 90s, and then other countries, like you say, but it's tough. And they only put antennas on top. I mean, they still got it. It's tough to build that big. But that's also old-fashioned tech. When you look at some of those, that kind of visualization also lets you see when it was built. So some of those buildings still, well, all those buildings still exist, and some of them were built a hell of a long time ago. So even though if you watch that, it's kind of neat because it assembles the building as the visualization is going along. It doesn't just appear; it gets built in front of you. Like there's a time lapse of the building, so you get to see the internal structure and then the skin. And the way those first buildings were built was like a whole bunch of boxes, with then fewer boxes towards the top, and then fewer boxes, and then finally a triangle at the top. And literally that same style was built all the way up until like something like the 40s or 50s or something. And then all of a sudden you start to see steel girders and a bunch of different types of buildings being built. But for a while there, they were all being built the same way. But so it's kind of boring. But like I said, freaking works because there's all those buildings still exist and they're pretty freaking tall. They're also built places where there's no earthquakes, I guess. But I think if
Are
you
there
were doing
any Are there any artificial or man-made structures that are visible from space? Besides, I'm thinking in terms of the Great Wall right now. Are there any vertical structures that are visible?
when they turn on the lights of the Luxor, you can see that all in space.
Oh, damn!
Luxor Hotel. At least they say that.
Yeah.
And then, what about the Pentagon or that Apple building? The Apple building is the biggest building, I think, right now. And I don't know if you can see the Pentagon. You can pretty much look at something from Google Earth, and you ain't seeing nothing really. I mean, you can barely see giant lakes, right? You have to really look at an ocean or something, a sea, to be able to see it from space. But the wall, I think you see because it looks like a road, right? You don't see bricks. You just see that there's some artificial cut in the ground that shouldn't, that looks like a weird river that's not flowing with the terrain or something. But I think I don't know. I guess it depends on what they're counting as seeing from space, too. I'm assuming that means naked eye. But we went all over the place. We're supposed to be talking about guns. So, we been working on we had that, what do you call the museum thing kind of done. But at about the 90% mark, I left it because, like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it 60 pages and just go nuts with it. But I figured I'll just call it volume 1 and just make a second edition at some point instead of leaving it half, 3/4 made or whatever. And then, like anything, as soon as you try to finish it, you figure out that you've only got 20% of it done, that 80% of it's still. And like I say, whenever this show's over, I'll still be editing. I found a bunch of typos in the stuff, but just formatting and aligning it and everything so that it looks right or worth, kind of consistent or whatever. All that takes just infinite amount of times, even with the software being pretty handy and making it infinitely easier than the old days where I was just using PowerPoint or something horrible to try to do that. Even with the new software, there's just times when you end up having to go back and change something on every single page, the hard old-fashioned way or whatever, or going through and adding pictures or something that you didn't think of. So anyway, so that's over, and we'll be working on new projects going forward. And I don't know, is there any other topics tonight? Throw it out there one more time. We're just about hitting the hour mark.
I still haven't received a single email from for the rally on Saturday. Do we have any better idea on times yet?
Well, like I say, Pincus, there was a scandal. I don't know if you heard earlier, but we uncovered a scandal about the 2A rally. It's all a big payoff. So it turns out that Pincus won that flag yesterday, And in order to get to the bottom of it, we're going to have. I just closed it. We just confirmed. I think 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We'll go live for a short live session, and basically to talk about the rally on the big channel, and then give away that flag again, I guess. So yeah, because he said pass the flag along. We'll give it away to anybody, but they're going to give it away live during the rally this time, like on Saturday. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm like, all right, cool. We'll announce that then, and that'll be an opportunity for us to pin them down on all the details, or at least figure out why we don't know any of the details. But I kind of suspect they might still be editing, because I heard I think it was Clover came in. Clover came in here and said that there was 34 speakers, and I heard 30 or 32. So if they are adding more speakers, then it's possible they just don't know how long it'll be. And if that's the case, maybe they're going to be flexible on when it'll start. So instead of pinning themselves down and then not being able to be flexible, maybe they're just leaving it, kind of vague until the last minute. Because honestly, who cares? If they probably could have said afternoon, but so because I heard already some of the naysayers, you want to call them, they already have mopers for the museum. So what's like an anti-rallier? Like it's not an individualist, because that sounds too positive. What's a negative way to say somebody who hates assembly? I don't know if there's a word for someone who hates the assembly of freedom loving individuals.
Well, I don't think I want to know that one.
But whatever the people are that like hate the idea of just people getting together online, or I guess at all, but I think online. I was trying to come up with whatever the hell to call them, and I totally lost what I was ragging on them about. So they're wrong. I'm right. We're going to be doing a chat tomorrow on the big channel. We will be ending this one because the last the last comment came in like 20 minutes ago, but we did get a new comment. Hates assembly equals a loner, I guess. But I don't know. I like being a loner. I don't want to put bad connotation on being a loner. Tyrant, I like that. Let's call them just tyrants. And plus, they wouldn't like being called tyrants. So it's even better if you call somebody a loner and they're like, okay, cool. It's like, dang it, I did not offend you. I didn't even piss you off or nothing. So I am down with that, but I like this better.
So who is the keynote?
How about tyrannettes? Because they're not actually tyrants, because they don't have any they're not really tyranny or nothing, but they're kind of down with tyranny, so I'm gonna call them tyrannettes. All right, go ahead, what?
So do we know who's delivering the keynote?
Well, I mean, Cheryl Todd and Pincus
Okay.
are kind of hosting it, but I think there's a third person who maybe I don't know. Maybe like a radio show host or something that I don't pay attention to.
Yeah, I do certainly hope that they don't drop like that Minnesota caucus did. That was like 3 or 4 bursts of like 10 individual video uploads. I couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah, I commented that was a dumb thing to do, and they replied to me. So at least they paid attention. They just decided to do it that way, I guess.
Okay.
So they were aware, and for whatever reason, I guess decided it. But you can tell somebody how to run a platform that you're familiar with, but it doesn't mean that they give a shit or they want to run the platform like you do. Who knows what kind of ideas they've got for it. But I don't think they will. It'll be an opportunity tomorrow to talk to Rob a little bit about how they're planning on hosting it or running it or whatnot. But I'm just assuming that they're going to host it on something like Duck here. I don't pay for Duck, but if I was paying for Duck, the El Pato, then I would have the ability to stream it, I think, to as many sources as I want. So I could send it out to Twitch or Switch or something, and then Facebook and LinkedIn, which I didn't even know was a thing, and YouTube and something else. Twitter, maybe? I don't know. It's Twitter or something.
Link,
Maybe
LinkedIn has a
Instagram.
video. LinkedIn has a video feature. Wow.
Yeah, I did it once and it didn't do nothing, so I didn't really bother again. I don't pay for Duck, so when you don't pay, all you can choose one. You can't do to multiple at the same time. So I just
Yeah.
pointed at YouTube since I don't care about Facebook at all. And like I say, I've tried others, but the one is for video games. Like it's either Twitch or Switch. I forget, something with an itch. And it's for video games. So when you stream over there, the system's decent. It looks like people use it, but no gun people are over there, so nobody shows up.
Well, I think Saturday is going to be a great day. Oh, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool maybe if since Pincus is ready to pass on already, what if it became the like a traveling trophy? Like each year it passes to someone new, and the origin is you. And I'm sure Ozzy, if he's not ready to step to tomorrow, he'd be probably willing to pass it on for 2021.
I don't know. I thought about last year having people sign it after I left. I was like, oh, that would have been a good idea. But I had already left. So if it was a real rally, you could bring a flag and a marker and then have everybody that's there, write on it, and that'd be interesting. But that wouldn't have been the same thing. That would have been something you'd go, okay, that's the 2019 pile of signatures or whatever.
Well, maybe eventually those 50 can fly side by side on the if we're not to include our territories on that grand anniversary. I think that would be incredible. And the DC project, I don't know if we had 50 of them and 50 of the random assemblage of the these, them, and those that constitute us. And wow, I'm picturing something like the UN flag displays. I think, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I dig flags.
I hear you. I don't want a bunch of them people writing on it, but it would be neat to go to an event where enough DC Project people are to have like a DC Project flag that they all write on. And that would be a neat flag. Do it all in teal with like the white and black center part. So it would be like a big teal looking flag. You don't see a teal flag hardly ever. I don't think I've ever seen a giant teal flag. And then every organization. Is that teal? I guess so. It's a little more
it's
deep.
white with teal bars. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of more like sky blue, I think. But I guess that's basically
you're
teal.
right.
But it wouldn't be tough. I mean, it would be tough for whoever has to make all the flags, but it wouldn't be difficult to throw a bunch of art at somebody and say, make these into a bunch of flags. It's just telling the machines to do it. But yeah, that'd be neat. And like you say, have like the UN type of thing going there. I don't know. It'd probably be, you'd have to have a giant event to have full-size flags. If you made the flags like half-size, right? So 2 foot by 1.5 feet or whatever that would be. Then you could have flag poles that are more like broomsticks and have more, because you'd need to have 30 flags. That it's not possible to have that many flag poles, I'm saying. So if you had something smaller, maybe hang them in some sort of like a, way. But I don't know. It could definitely be cool. And then
well, and how about for the 50 states of 2A? Every state's got a flag, and so do the territories.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Then it's a flag festival instead of a 2A rally. It's like everybody bring 2 flags to the 2A rally. One for something. No, whatever. So we got off of that because of the flags or whatever, and that's just because, again, got 2 of them here. Took one last year, had the second one, did the kind of promotion or whatever to get flags out to people. I hope they'll get there. They all got sent out yesterday morning, so I don't think one sale came in today. So nothing even came in yesterday night. So everything went out yesterday morning. So that hopefully will get to everybody, maybe in the mailbox on Saturday, but as long as the rally's in the afternoon. Hopefully everybody will have them for the rally. But
Yeah, I tracked mine and was able to call my post office today and have them hold it at the counter for me because they'll be closing at noon. And yeah, I'll be picking up my package at the counter.
now, Ozzy, were you the one saying that you wanted to see if Angelina would make more of them? 'Cause
He
had
did
them up.
say something like that last night. Yeah,
He had-
and I almost threw out a Me Too comment.
Well, I'm sure she can make them. She's already got the art and everything. She made 2 already. Now,
But can she make them glow in the dark?
no, probably not. You have to use threads. I haven't seen ink that glows, but I haven't looked for it either. But the white part is what would glow, and that's the flag is white, and it's printed blue and red, I'm guessing. So you'd have to have a white glow in the dark flag, which they might make. Anyhow, Ozzy, I don't know if you were here yesterday, but when we did the drawing, Pincus won, and then after that, I redrew, and then you won. So since Pincus is taking the flag technically and passing it along, I figure if you want, I'll send you the one that is the one that I flew or that was flown at the actual first rally last year. So I'll give Pincus the new one to pass along because that one's all folded and nice. I never even opened it. And then you can have the one that's all wrinkled up and got dog hair on it, and she probably pooped on it. Maybe she drooled on it. She doesn't poop on stuff, but she probably drooled on it and snorted on it. And then it's got more caricature if you want it. And then that'll give me an excuse to send you some of the new books so you can give me some insight on printing. We were just talking about the 50 or the Firearm Museum book that just went out today. So I guess with that, we'll wrap it up. We're at the hour mark. That fulfills my obligation. Right on. So I'll let her know. I haven't seen her in a bit. So she's either working hard or hardly working. And we'll see if she ever shows up again. And I think I'm wrapping it up so I can go get some work done. Got one book, another book in the rack, I don't know, on the shelf of the library, I guess. And then I'll be setting up a thing tomorrow for a quick chat with Pincus to chat about the rally and to encourage more people to grab a flag for 2A type of stuff over at the store, and then getting the run-in for the re-gifting of the 2A rally flag. With that, we'll say, you got anything there before we head out?
Rally around the flag, boys.
Thanks for showing up and making the thing. We probably would have ended about 20 minutes, except for that you jumped in. So this is all about being part of a conversation, and it'll last as long as conversation goes. But thanks everybody for showing up. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back to pick up